Okay, hi, my name's Clintleetwood, and today I'm going to be bringing you another little replay analysis. In this case, things are going to be a little different this go around, and by that I mean I'll be reviewing a much higher MMR game than I normally do. The players in question are 30 to 1 and Argoniur. I have had the pleasure to play against these players and both win and lose against them. So, I'm going to attempt to understand the board state, the steps that are being taken, and how I might approach it slightly differently if I were in 30 to 1 shoes. 30 to 1 has been playing a very aggressive flank heavy style, and the only real feedback he's received so far is that hard flanks are bad. And I think there is some conventional wisdom in that, but I don't think that is a rule that should always be honored. So I'm wondering if we can learn some things here, either together or just in play styles to help refine that in the future. 30 to 1, I'm going to apologize in advance. This is probably going to be a long one. If you haven't watched one of these videos before, I sort of stream of conscious and one take these. This is going to be me stepping through every single replay or every single turn in the replay and trying to offer advice or maybe look at things that were missed. So just initially, right, let's go over specialists. We have 30 to 1, the requestee, playing Crawler Phoenix on supply. This is a very strong opening draft. Versus Argoniur, who's playing quick supply with Sledge Marksman. Also a very, very strong draft. I think realistically, 30 to 1, you're probably going to be trying to limit damage done these early rounds, right? Because your opponent does have the option to go like double Sledge, and I just don't think we have the DPS to crack that. But let's see how deployments shake down here. Okay, pretty standard stuff from Argoniur. Fangs in front, seems fine. And yeah, I've been seeing this a lot from 30 to 1 and other players, this sort of like balanced approach from right and left. What ends up happening, right, is if a player plays like on the outside of the tower on this side, this sort of flank over here becomes incredibly annoying and incredibly deadly, as any amount of units here basically get to beeline straight into the tower. So let's see if that actually ends up happening here. I think Argoniur is doing the correct thing by placing units on this side of the tower, meaning that flanks should only really pull this marksman and this marksman currently. Okay, so we're actually not going for the balanced approach here, and we're going to be overloading this side with crawlers. Okay. I still am a little worried if we should overwhelm this. The only question now becomes, do we have enough to clean up what's over here as well? It really is gonna come down to this tower timing. But realistically, right, the damage early on in these rounds don't typically matter. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna crack them for about like 450, almost 500. So not a bad first round, honestly. But also another important thing to note here, Argoniur did not sell or did not bank his, or did not purchase anything with his extra 200. He goes into Nano, which is very spooky. Okay, interesting little move here. Wasps. Okay. What do we end up unlocking? Okay. So it looks like we're trying to pull this in, all of this in over here, and hit him from the left side over here, which is cool. I don't think I've ever really seen something like that. I'm curious to see if this actually is how this plays out, or if we actually end up aggroing some stuff over here. But this is like pretty heads up, honestly. If I'm speaking candidly, this is something that I should probably be looking for. And this requires like a pretty in-depth understanding of how unit aggro works and splits. So for example, right, now that Argoniur has added another sledge on this side, rather on this side of the tower, right, we should see, I think, these three break off and move over to these. Yeah, see, these three break off, and this is so annoying. So we're lacking a lot of DPS up front, a lot of chaff clear now, because the only chaff clear Argoniur has is our sledgehammers. And yeah, this can be this could spiral very quickly out of control and be a very frustrating playstyle to play against, in my mind. The only thing I think we have to worry about here, realistically, is if we have enough to clear these wasps. But I mean, once we grab this tower, which will lead to us grabbing this tower, this is no longer an issue. So yeah, it looks like that little flank over here on the left did work. That's super heads up 30. Nicely done. Some really solid damage for rounds 1 and 2. We've basically taken out like a fifth of his HP at this point. So let's pause real quick and look at these. 30-1 goes Fire Badgers. Oh wait, no, Argoniur goes Fire Badgers. 30-1, I mean, honestly, there's not really any great options here. Maybe the Typhoon is something we look at. Excuse me. But honestly, yeah, not many great, I would argue, aggro options here. Something that we might like to see, right, is like Mustangs. Something that we might like to see is like an Overlord, I think would be pretty neat here. But let's see how this shakes down. Okay, so we also go Badgers. I think Badgers is fine. I think at the end of the day, right, this is like one of these units that is very hard to pass up. It's very strong. And this is smart from Argoniur, right? He wants to shut down these flank shenanigans as hard as possible. And the way he's going to do that is by slamming these Fire Badgers on the flanks. 30-1 goes for a Wraith, which is cool. This worries me a little bit. And the main reason why it worries me is I believe if he clicks these two buttons, these wasps will always auto-lock on this this Wraith. Similarly, if this Marksman, I think we're here, and AA spec is clicked, it will instantly lock on here. So we come into this weird issue where even if we have chaff, and regardless if it gets missiled, it can just straight up get popped from namely this, or namely this, because of this tech in general. So something I would say to consider here, 30-1, is crawlers are a solid investment, I think, early on. But if we are committing this hard to a flank, one, I think we might want wasps, but that might be a tough call here, actually. I don't know what text you're running on your wasps, but if it's something like what Argoniur is running here, so we have ground specialization, I think, like, realistically, right, we could go like wasp here, and like really start to hammer home, and sort of throw a Wraith. I think throw this Wraith back here, and that way, like, we have these three solid units up front. I just don't think there's a solid way to protect these without throwing up wasps, like here, and those just get missiled, right? Or like here, but even still, that's like pretty brutal. But if I had to take a guess here, this looks pretty favorable for Argoniur. It depends on how well this front goes. The main problem right now is that instead of being holding up areas of defense with forts, he's hold up areas of his defense with Fire Badgers, and these just absolutely hose crawlers, unfortunately. Yeah, this looks pretty bad over here. This looks pretty bad over here. I don't think we have enough DPS. Maybe we're lucky enough. Yeah. Pretty figure for Argoniur here. Still one marksman up. These wraiths will collect a good chunk of XP, it looks like. But I believe this guy will come up and kill both of these off pretty quick. Oh. Yeah. So, good thing here for us, right, is that we kept the loss low. Argoniur has taken quite a bit of damage, and we kept our loss low, but Argonier's... Sorry, I thought he picked portable shield, but you did. I imagine that portable shield is going on something over here. Sorry, I yawned. Let me try that again. I imagine the portable shield's going on something over here. Which seems pretty strong. There's a part of me that also thinks like Rhino Assault in this corner would be like pretty solid, right? Like if we're looking at space being abused, like realistically, right, it's like this area is pretty safe to attack if we can. And this is like kind of the other downside of making early committal flanks like this, especially when like Fire Badgers show up, is that the only thing that's like really open on our opponent's board is this back area, and there's no way to efficiently get to it. But I mean, we have all of this open, all of this open, all of this open. So I'm not sure. I think this sort of like double Wraith play over here would be really solid if we had a relocate early on. But we're going to be hurting our deployments because I don't think this is like tenable. I think this gets folded pretty quickly. I could be wrong. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so now aerial spec is clicked. And another wasp. Intensive training. This is like pretty good stuff. And then more Fire Badgers. With field maintenance. Okay, so we just can't crack this stuff now. Okay, I mean, I think these steel balls are a good idea. But I'll be honest though, this just sort of feels cheesy, right? Like, what's our cohesive plan here? What are we transitioning into? It's like we might be able to eke out a couple rounds doing this kind of fun flank stuff, messing around with the AI. But I think we need to have like a very cohesive plan. And if our plan is to transition into like a ball wraith push, I think double committing the wraith here is a bad idea. And I think what it should have been is like one wraith here to be annoying, and then like one wraith back here so we can allow our phoenixes to do a lot of work. And you might say, well, I mean, we have an arc light. That's true. But you know, like that's our only chaff clear, and God forbid, you know, it these sledgehammers lock on there. It's what, dead in 7 or 8 shots. So yeah, I think like Wraith here, and then I think like this turn, I think the double ball was good, but I would like this ball to be like over here. I would really like to start pushing and like make this a real problem. And then like maybe next turn, right, we can transition out of this Wraith over here now that he's clicked aerial spec and go like Mustang with aerial spec. And then like range on the Wraith back here. It's just some theory crafting, but let's see how this goes. Okay, I like the levels that we're taking here. I think this is smart, right? Because now we start... yeah, these two will one-shot. Fire Badger. I don't know about this. I think if we ever have a Wraith on the flank and someone matches with Wasps, we need to be anticipating this button. And this button just kind of hoses how long these take to come in. I think this is fine, maybe, if we have strike spec, but I think this is a trap. Cool idea, though. I will tell you that much. Okay, this is smart. But yeah, I mean... This looks really bad for us over here. This move is smart. Oh, doesn't look like it's going to end up doing anything. Unfortunately, our steel balls get hosed on the left. Yeah, and we've just taken infinite here this turn. Oof. Okay, I mean, those are the Mustangs. I think the Rhino... Are we selling the Rhino? We throwing the Rhino in here? Okay, we're coming at this side with the Rhino. I don't know. I think the mobile beacon should be along this path here to the tower with the Rhino. Almost all these units are ranged, right? So I think the only thing that would get in front of it is basically like this. Maybe this, maybe this. It's hard to say. Replicating a Fire Badger is adventurous. I think this might be a waste of 250 credits. Sorry, gamer's freaking out. Okay, I mean, this looks good, actually. This looks good, actually, too. So this Wraith should clean up. We get a really important level, I feel like, on the Wraith. In general, right, I feel like Wraith breakpoints are a little weird in the sense of level 2 Wraith being a lot stronger than a level 1 Wraith. I mean... So I'm kind of interested in not seeing Electromagnetic Blast being picked up. I think at the end of the day, right, it's sort of the bane of these hard flanks spells in general, because there's no real way to protect them. So we ended up taking Senior Defense Spec. Okay. Here comes the Scorpion. Okay. I don't know. I'd like to talk to you about this. I don't know if matching here is correct. I would like to like asymmetrically come at them, and by that I mean like I think the Wraith here or here would be way better, but I could be wrong. And right, I mean, these are level 2 balls versus a level 1 ball with the portable shield. And you might say that's comparable to a level 2 ball, and I mean, I kind of agree, but like realistically, also no. Okay, so here's the theory craft, right? Do these wasps immediately latch on here and immediately latch on here? My understanding is yes. Let me ignore that. So sorry, Dern. I would love to play a game with you, but I am currently reviewing a replay. So that would also be the case here too, right? You will have these potentially immediately latching on here. This is gonna kind of suck for us, huh? I think there's a world where we consider range over suck, but I understand suck. I really, really do. I think it's better into giant boards. and not so great into this sort of stuff. Granted, the scorpions did just come down this turn. Okay, let's see how this goes. Yeah, so these wasps immediately latch on. These wasps, some have, only one has, interesting. Okay. That's not how I understand how the tech should work. What the way I understand is that this wraith and those wraiths should be seen 30 units closer. But it looks like there's maybe some inconsistency in how this targeting works. Yeah, and unfortunately these steel balls get utterly annihilated by frontline scorpions. And yeah. Luckily here it looks like these these crawlers are getting in. We've got quite a lot going on. Nice. This rhino's still a huge problem for our opponent. But now we have the issue of not being able to shoot up. And our opponent still has quite a bit of upshoot that is outclassing ours. Okay, we get another round. Amp core is huge, yeah. I completely agree with amp core being a pickup from both sides. Like amp core here, amp core on one of these being leveled becomes a real problem. Yeah, amp core here makes perfect sense to me in my brain. Level 2 steel balls is a pretty important breakpoint. We no longer get one shot. Oh, okay, well, never mind that. We do get one shot. But here is this super annoying stuff that I'm talking about, right? If we are playing on this corner, and someone goes to match us, we just simply hit them with this flank, and this poor scorpion's going to be shooting something that he doesn't want to. And our balls with the suck get to do all the work they want to do. So let's see if we end up taking one of these levels and then amp coring it. I think that's the correct play, at least in my mind. This missile's going to suck. But this is very smart from Argoniur. I was mentioning the stuff about that like negative space stuff earlier, and sure enough, he's abusing that with this. Okay, this is smart. Oh wow, this is super smart. Okay, so you have recognized that there is the very real possibility of Argoniur trying to stem some bleeding, or trying to at least win the round by killing your frontline units here, and you are protecting them with an anti-missile sentry. This is stuff that I kind of miss to think about sometimes, but it is very important to certain aggro strategies. If your units are on the line, it's almost like an opponent is like haunted, if that makes sense, into making these sort of missiles. So, assault scorpion. Okay, cool. Whoa. Assault scorpion's kind of a hose here, I think, unfortunately. But let's see how this round shakes down too. Oh, four balls. Yeah, this falls. Okay, we're gonna get in on the tower though, that's huge. Or are we? Okay, we do. We lose the right side completely though. We get right tower. You know, this looks good for us, as long as this lives. We probably need to click this range button here soon. I don't think there's a world where we can continue to play and win without range on our wraiths. Similarly, because of Assault Scorpion, I think this is almost a necessary button to click. Ouch. Ouch. The good news is if we get in... Nope. Damn. We didn't end up amp coring anything, which I feel like is a mistake. But Lightning Storm's a bit of a bailout here, right? Cannot protect these wasps, which makes it pretty good for our side in general. See, now that we have redeployment, oh man, this is a tough one, right? I see your line of thinking here. Your line of thinking is if I can win this side handedly by removing these, or rather these units of DPS, right? I can probably win the game. Argoniur is playing a little bit of a longer-term goal. I think he's thinking that he's stabilized and or is trying to play around Lightning Storm in and of itself. I think this was a misplay though, not leveling up one of these units and slamming Amp Core last round. We are out of money. We loan. I mean, goodness gracious, right? We could Amp Core this. Yeah, so I think this is a turn late. I think this is also a turn late. I'm not sure if I understand armor here. This should be range. Egen Beam is matched. I think this is not looking good for you at all, buddy. Yeah, smart redeployment removes this. Okay, I mean, this side is looking very good for us. How is everything looking over here? Wow, we have pulled all of this over. This looks good. Nice. This is dead. Not so nice. We get can we get in? Nice. Can we get this one? Okay, that's kind of big. Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot left, it looks like. Looks like we didn't deal with this flank either. Or if we did, we just delayed it slightly. Yeah, this is a lot of damage too. Not quite game, but very, very close. So we went replicate crawlers over here and we lost. I think that might be just because of the attack upgrade. There are two groups, but... Okay, we go for another lightning storm. I don't know if this is going to do the same... yeah, I mean, it makes sense, man. But, yeah, I mean, here's the reality, right? We can't protect any of this, and it's all going to die immediately. Let's see. More wraiths. Makes sense. There's a bunch of replicate crawlers coming at you. This seems good. I think these Mustangs are late. I mentioned these very early on. I think this Rhino has outlived his purpose. I think it's time for it to go. I think Mustangs with like AA here would be really strong. I think redeployment kind of starting to shift stuff out of here, right? Because we could move the Phoenixes, this, both of the Phoenixes and this out with the redeployment from last round to this side, reinforcing it. We could have had a bunch of Mustangs, giving our Wraith a little more time and free reign. We could have used this 600 maybe even go impact drill and start winning this over here pretty handedly, winning other things over here handedly. I think armor is a mistake, and I think range enhancement would be better here. I think once I see Assault Scorpion, my thought process is, if their range is decreased, right, I can. I mean, we can almost perfectly match, and for a round, right? We can maybe even win a round by just outranging those things. So yeah, so like if we had gone impact drill, right, we match and win here. These level 2 crawlers actually makes math a little difficult. I'm not sure how that breaks down. Okay, so yeah, we go AA on Mustangs. This makes sense. I think it's still late though. I think this is going to get utterly wiped. We have a double mobile beacon, which is cool. I like that. Yeah, it's pretty brutal over here. This is gonna get deleted. This gets deleted. This tower loses. I think we still end up losing, but yeah. All right. I mean, it was a nice try, 30. I want to talk about a couple things here. I know you mentioned on the feedback bit that you felt like hard flanks are good, and I've played against you when you've done the hard flanks and you beat me with it. So for the most part, right, I think they can be good. I think they are incredibly dependent on the cards. So in this case, right, I think Assault Scorpion kind of hoses us. I think with the I think we can commit much harder to this if we have something like redeployment, because that way we can easily transition out of this. I think this level on this Wraith was late. We waited a turn to amp core it. I'm not really sure why. Maybe you were playing a little fast. I do that sometimes too. I think this Rhino way outlived his purpose. Over the course of the entire game, only 23 kills. I mean, I understand that his attempt is to draw fire, but I mean, we have double shot Scorpions on the field, right? That's I mean, it's 140k HP, I guess, but I don't know. It seems bad here. I think armor was a mistake, and I think range would have been better or much more suited into this matchup. And the reality, right, is if your opponent is matching Wraith, degen, you know that they will also eventually match Replicate. So we need to try to stay ahead of that. And I think the best way we can stay ahead of that is with preemptively teching Impact Drill. I think at least some of the stuff that has worked against me recently has been ranged AA stings against this sort of like wasp counter into like these sort of flanks. So I think these were late. I think we needed them here, like here, and maybe here. It's kind of hard to say. But yeah, I hope this was helpful, man. And I hope you maybe took something away from this. Cool stuff. And if you want me to review another replay, I'm more than happy to. Anyways, hope to run into you on ladder. Take it easy. Bye.